support lines are overwhelmed, and customers are getting hung up on as they try to figure out what's going on after tens of thousands of games have been removed from itch.io and Steam. These gamers are just trying to get answers, but nobody from Visa seems to have a clear explanation. In the meantime,
they do. They just don't want to give it to you.
Mastercard has released an official statement for this issue. Both Steam and itch.io are facing a massive wave of censorship. On itch.io, the platform completely de-indexed all adult content from search and browse pages. This was a drastic move, which itch.io confirmed they had to make to protect the platform's core payment infrastructure. But this isn't just an itch.io problem. Steam has also been quietly delisting games.
They've been fucking around with Japan on this for years. This is something that the creator of Nier Automata, Yoko Taro, has talked about this for years. People didn't really pay attention or care that much because it was a localized issue and we're in an American, Western, English-speaking internet sphere, but it's been an issue for a bit.
After the first initial ones, more games are getting removed from Steam, even some with very little adult content. The reason for all this is intense pressure from payment networks like Visa and Mastercard, or even other ones like PayPal and Stripe. Although some want to just blame Steam for removing
that's another one real quick, is that PayPal also does this shit too. So everybody getting mad at Steam and at Visa and Mastercard, totally fair, but they do not have a monopoly on being full of shit. PayPal also is full of shit.
Games, they essentially had no choice. In a post Collective Shout made trying to celebrate, as they really only care about censoring as many things as possible, they specifically...
Objectification of women is the problem, was the excuse? Why is objectifying women bad? I think it's great. Who decided it's bad?
Mention how they tried to get Steam to listen to them for months, but obviously Valve never listened. So they had to take it a step further and complain to payment processors instead, which is where these companies like Visa and Mastercard were able to abuse their power and force games to get removed. Now, itch.io is taking a two-part approach to this problem. The first is a long-term plan, finding new payment partners who are more accepting of a wider range of content. This is a crucial step for the platform to become less dependent on the rules of a few powerful companies. While this
I think that you have to have regulation, and while a free market could solve this problem in the long term, it also doesn't account for... So there are things that companies with monopoly status do to exercise that control that transcends their reach of the scope of their business, such as lobbying and trying to advocate for regulations that effectively act as a barrier to entry to competitors that are trying to enter into the same market. So I don't think that there's the idea of a free market, I think, is kind of an illusion. And I think in this circumstance, that's what's happening right now.
Fix the underlying issue of these payment processors controlling what gets sold. It gives itch.io a fighting chance to bring back the removed content and continue supporting adult games. itch.io has begun relisting some free adult games. This is a huge piece of the puzzle. Since these games don't require a payment processor, their return proves that the issue isn't with itch.io or Steam's rules, but with the financial companies themselves.
Of course it is.
Like we talked about in our last video, gamers aren't having any of it and are now using the same tactics Collective Shout used to express their complaints to payment processors. Like
you have to use the Karen's ancient magic against them. You have to use it. I know it's blood magic, and it might not feel good, but you don't want to bring a knife to a gunfight. You're going to end up dead.
Visa and Mastercard. I am actively seeing more reports of users calling these companies to complain, and this organized effort is having a visible effect on their customer service. Support staff are now clearly overwhelmed. I have seen a bunch of reports and stories from people who have said they called Visa and then would just get hung up on, which I 100% believe, because every time I've called Visa, I would get a similar response. It would start off great, but as soon as the customer service agent on the other end realized what I was talking about, whether it was because I mentioned Steam or video games or censorship, they would instantly speak over me, tell me to send an email, and then just hang up. Even if I didn't stop talking, they would just sigh and repeat the same response over and over. Another time, the Visa rep just reread the Visa...
I kind of want to call them and see, but I'm worried I would get in trouble. Like, that's the only reason I don't do it on stream right now. If it wasn't for that, I would do it on stream right this second.
email we talked about in our previous video before hanging up like that was supposed to fix the issue.
Get in trouble?
Every call had nearly the exact same response from Visa, saying to email so they can send you this
The reason why is I think they told Chance not to call Blizzard on stream, like way back in the day. And like, if there is a way that they could probably give me a vacation, I think that they would. And so I try to play it by the rules, and I don't like pushing it, right? I don't want to push it.
Paced response, and then they would just hang up. With every call having a similar response, it seems extremely likely that the Visa support staff was briefed on the situation and what to say, or in this case, say pretty much nothing at all and then just hang up. It seems pretty clear that Visa is now getting overwhelmed by the backlash, although some will say don't annoy these innocent employees who have no say in the matter. Well, this is the exact strategy Collective Shout used. And
yeah, exactly. They shouldn't have done it then. Yeah, you never... The thing is that if something feels bad to do, then you'll lose to the person who doesn't care. Always do what works. Bring a gun to a gunfight. That's it.
And it worked. So as Visa seems to be getting tired over the phone, it doesn't seem like gamers are stopping anytime soon. The goal is to make Visa realize that if they want to listen to these activist groups like Collective Shout, the backlash will be much larger.
That's right.
Now, as I'm making this video, even Mastercard has responded to the situation.
They sure have.
Previously, we had Visa, and now is Mastercard, saying clarifying recent headlines on gaming content.
They're trying to roach out, but nobody wants to let them.
Mastercard has not evaluated any game or required restrictions of any activity on game creator sites and platforms, contrary to media reports and allegations. Our payment network follows standards based on the rule of law. Put simply, we allow all lawful purchases on our network. At the same time, we require merchants to have appropriate controls to ensure Mastercard cards cannot be used for unlawful purchases, including illegal adult content. So very similar to Visa, they're pretty much saying that they allow all lawful purchases and really only go after illegal adult content. But within just hours of this being posted, it has...
Why is illegal adult content... Like, you'd have to go after all illegal content. It's not like adult content is somehow uniquely bad. Like, illegal adult content is the same as illegal content, period. You're obligated to stop all of it. Why would you even add that qualifier? Well, I'll tell you why they'd add the qualifier. It's because they're fucking lying. That's the reason why. It's obvious.
Been community noted, saying both Steam and itch have stated their removal of adult content came from pressure by payment processors, including Mastercard. Furthermore, Mastercard and other payment processors have a documented history of refusing service to Japanese retailers over legal adult content. So although both Visa and Mastercard are trying to deny it, their history speaks for itself. Although these obviously aren't the responses we want, I think this is a pretty good sign because it shows...
No, because it shows... The thing is that it isn't the response that you want, but even if they capitulated and they gave us what we wanted, that still wouldn't be what I would want. The problem fundamentally is that this weapon is available to use. The solution is removing this as a weapon. That's the problem. So like you have to figure out a way to hold these people liable on a legal level. That's the main issue.
Have these payment processor companies' attention. And if we potentially keep up the pressure,
can't do that,
they will
nothing
just
happens.
have to listen. Stripe, which is one of the main payment processors used on itch.io, has directly addressed the situation. They confirmed that they will not be able to support adult content that fits the following definition: content designed for sexual gratification. Stripe...
Okay. If they are exercising any sort of publishing discretion, then they should be held accountable as publishers. Period. Sure. Okay. That's fine. And so if you are exercising your own discretion and you are deciding what services are happening and not happening, and you are going above and beyond the law, then the next time somebody makes an illegal payment with Stripe, I think the government should sue them. And they should fine them, and they should do it over and over and over again until they stop doing this. That's it. No, they have protections. Take them away. Yeah, arrest their executives. Yeah, exactly. And so that's it's simple. Like, I don't want to be ruled over by a bunch of random fucks that work at some payment processor company that decide which adult content people should and shouldn't be able to see. It's not up to them. It shouldn't be up to them. They're actively subverting the will of the people. This is something that should be decided democratically by a public decision, by a law, and they are acting as if they are the law. Get the fuck out of here. Absolutely not. Yeah, if you don't want to, if you want to have the power of publishing and the power of censorship, then you also need the accountability of whenever those accounts and whenever things bad happen on your website. Yeah, take the protection away. Yeah, exactly. They're payment processors. They have no say. Exactly. Payment processors aren't politicians. Exactly. Yeah, it's easy money. The civilian can even do an unlawful purchase, claiming they didn't know it was illegal via Stripe, which guarantees its lawfulness. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, like, the way I would handle this, my viewpoint on solving this problem is always direct personal accountability. I try to find one individual in a group of individuals, and I make an example out of that person, and then nobody else does it. That's what the government needs to do. They need to find a person at this company that they can hold personally liable. And the moment that you do that, all of these problems disappear. The reason why these problems happen is because nobody thinks that anything's going to happen to them.
Also wanted to pass this message along to gamers. Stripe is currently unable to support sexually explicit content due to restrictions placed on them by their banking partners. Despite card networks generally supporting adult content with the appropriate registrations, Stripe has indicated that they hope to be able to support
adult... So then it's the banks that are the problem and it's not Stripe.
Content in the future, which is a bit interesting because the
problem is that they're a private company. They can deny service to whoever they want. It's the same legal standing as the bakery a few years ago that refused to make a gay wedding cake. Okay, that's fine. They want to deny service to whoever they want. Okay, well then I'm going to take away the thing where they're not accountable. You see, like, these companies exist with a tremendous amount of privileges that allow them to exist by the government. If you held these companies accountable for what they were doing and what they were making money off of, they would instantly be shut down. These companies can only exist because they are propped up by an apparatus of privileges. So this entire idea that there are private companies so they can do whatever they want, okay, if you're a private company, then you should be treated like a private company and you shouldn't have a bunch of privileges. You can have one or the other. Can't have both. That's the problem.
They want to support adult content in the future, but due to their banking partners, they can't. This raises the next question. Who are these banking partners? When Stripe explains why they can't work with certain businesses, they point directly to the strict rules and regulations of payment networks like Visa and Mastercard. This proves that even though Stripe in this situation is the direct processor, they are still under the control of these larger networks like Visa and Mastercard. If you remember this elevated risk line from Visa's email, well, it's back. When Stripe explains businesses that pose a brand risk, pornography is included. Financial institutions and payment networks care about the brand and reputational risk that associated businesses pose. There are a set of businesses that our financial partners do not want to be associated with, even if there is a market demand for them. Stripe doesn't independently reject businesses.
I wonder if any of the people that work at these companies that are executive leadership are on the board or in the Epstein list. I wonder. I don't know. Maybe.
Is based on brand risk. We have many unpopular businesses and causes on Stripe, but we are at times obliged to enforce the restrictions of our partners. This confirms what we've seen before. Visa and Mastercard have the power to force companies to follow their rules. They don't necessarily have to be a direct payment processor on a platform like itch.io. They just have to be somewhere in the payment chain to have complete control.
Exactly.
Stripe even further explains this when they try
to weakest link in the chain type thing.
Work with a startup, but were forced to stop after their financial partners did not agree.
Yep.
So although Visa claims
they are lying, they are straight up fucking lying. I think this is the way that I think you could call this bluff, but I don't think that it would actually work because somehow these companies are too powerful. If you requested data on yourself, because there are people that are blocked from using these banks, and if you did it in one of these European countries where the company was required to give you all of the data that it has on you, and it didn't give you that data, but you know that you were blocked, you could sue them, theoretically. I think it's called GDPR.
Don't moderate content. They simply just force any company they're working with to follow their rules, or they won't work with them. This shows a very dangerous power dynamic, where a few powerful financial companies can dictate what is and isn't acceptable, even when the content is perfectly legal. But as Itch has confirmed, they are currently in talks with new payment processors, which will hopefully be a step in the right direction. I have reached out to Valve for a statement on if they will be looking for new payment processors or going to be re-adding crypto as an option. So if I hear back, I will for sure give you an update. Of course, these aren't solutions that will fix the underlying problem, as it seems like we will need the government to get involved. But
the government has to be involved. You need regulation to ensure free markets. The first thing that people that are resourceful and Machiavellian do in a free market is make it not a free market anymore. Anybody with any brain knows that.
At least give control back to these platforms so they don't have to follow the rules of these payment processors.
And by the way, those are the people that always win. They always come out ahead every single time.
The outcome of this situation will have a long-lasting impact on gamers and developers everywhere. Will platforms like Steam find a stable solution, or will this be a permanent shift in what kind of content is allowed online?
It's going to be a big shift, I think, and I think that this shift is already existing. It's just that we don't know about it. I totally support this, by the way. I think this guy's great. He's made a number of videos about this topic. I agree with all of them. Make sure to give him a sub. Water CS2. He's obviously not playing CS, but, you know, it's close enough. Won't the government do the same thing? No, the government doesn't do the same thing at all. Absolutely not. I called Visa 3 times today, and they resort to a script about not supporting illegal content. They're literally lying to save face. Regulation appears to be the only way forward. Yes, you have to regulate them. And the thing is that, like, I feel like we could have... Here's the problem with J.D. Vance, okay? Is that if it wasn't for that whole couch fiasco... we could probably have a really good ally that would understand this problem that would work with us. But, like, because of the whole couch thing, I feel like he doesn't want to get involved in this. Yeah, use a call repeater? Yeah, he's approved? Yeah, well, exactly, right? Elon could do it? Well, he's not in the government. If Elon was in the government, that'd be fucking great. But he's not. And so what's the couch fiasco? Nobody knows. And Vance will ban porn totally. No guy is going to ban porn. It's not going to happen. Don't worry about it. The UN responded too. Really? I didn't even know that. Well, anyway, so Kotaku, Valve did respond to the accusation that Visa is doing it just to remove illegal content. Valve has responded. This happened yesterday after I ended my stream. In a statement to Kotaku, a spokesperson for Valve said that while Mastercard did not communicate it directly, concerns did come through payment processor and banking intermediaries. They said that payment processors rejected Valve's current guidelines for moderating illegal content on Steam, citing Mastercard's Rule 5.12.7. Mastercard did not communicate directly with Valve. What is this here? And did not communicate directly with Valve. And despite our request to do so, Mastercard doesn't want to communicate directly with Valve because they're afraid to. Because if they communicate directly, they show their hand, and they also can be held liable. So they're doing this through an intermediary so they can maintain deniability. That's what they're doing. It's crazy how this is a huge billion-dollar company. And it's so in front, like, everybody knows this. JD is Palantir, though? Good. Palantir can figure out whether they're lying or not. If anybody can, it's the Seeing Stones. Holy fuck. Anyway, let's go back. We're going to finish this. Valve's statement sent over the email to Kotaku reads, Mastercard communicated with payment processors and their acquiring banks. Payment processors communicated this with Valve, and we replied by outlining Steam's policies in 2018, attempting to distribute games that are legal for distribution. Payment processors rejected this and specifically cited Mastercard's rule as a risk to the Mastercard brand. A merchant must not submit to its acquirer. A customer must not submit to the interchange system any transaction that is illegal or in the sole discretion of the corporation may damage the goodwill of the corporation or reflect negatively on the marks. So there it is. They literally have a rule that says that they don't process transactions for reasons, because this is a very important word here, right? Let's go ahead and let's look at this word. This word right here is or. It's not and, it's not like, it's not such as. So this is drawing a distinction between any transaction that is legal, and there is a second distinction that they are making, which is anything that at the sole discretion of the corporation may damage the goodwill of the brand. So you can see very fucking clearly that is not just illegal content. They are lying. Everybody knew that they are lying. They exposed themselves as lying, and that's all there is to it. It says may, exactly, because they're doing that in order to give themselves the largest amount of doing this. Read Article 10200 EU law. Payment processors are committing a crime. An antitrust lawsuit is already in the works. Good. Absolutely good. If any politicians from the EU want to talk about that lawsuit or want any sort of promotion on it, and they want any insight, I have full, my DMs are open. They can message me if they want to come on my stream. I'll make a video about it and spread the word. Violations of Rule 512.7 can result in fines, audits, or companies being dropped from the payment processors. There you go. Why is it more damaging to the brand that people wanting to find an alternate payment processor? They're speedrunning competition. Because it's not about brand damage. It's about control. Brand damage is just another way of saying control in a euphemism. They really want to be able to control you. That's it. Japan's doing the same. Yeah, I'd be glad to talk to anybody like that. I would prefer if it was English, because obviously it would be hard for people to understand, but I'd do whatever I needed to do. If the sale, it goes on. You're right. I did forget about this. I missed a paragraph. It goes on. The sale of a product or service, including an image which is patently offensive and lacks serious artistic value, such as, by the way of example and not limitation, images of non-consensual sexual behavior, sexual exploitation of a minor, non-consensual mutilation of a person or body part, and bestiality, or other material that the corporation deems unacceptable to sell in connection with a mark. Bullshit. The only one there that's actually against the law is sexual exploitation of a minor and non-consensual sexual behavior in some circumstances that are actual real people. But if you're talking about non-consensual mutilation, there are plenty of video games that have that right now. It's offensive. Yeah, that's every shooter video game. This is outrageous. Nobody should be putting up with this. And we should not have a random ass fucking company telling us what kind of stuff we're allowed to see. SFO had a video, 2019. Mastercard is the final boss. It's been delisted from his channel, but there are re-uploads. Might be something worth watching. Well, I might watch that. I didn't even know about that. Never heard about that. So yeah, what about movies with a rape scene? They're making it up as they go. They decide and make whatever decision they want based off of what they feel like exercising. By the way, you will never know if this decision came from Mastercard, thieves who steal from every transaction. Mastercard often tells partners to censor without doing it directly. They are playing cloak and dagger games. That is exactly what they're doing. They need to come out and express this clearly. And also, I feel like if they're communicating this way, can't they just pull their chat logs and see what they're saying? I mean, why do we have the Patriot Act if we can't figure out what these people are saying? Yeah, I'm so fucking tired of this. This is so annoying. Yeah, maybe get Josh on. Maybe we'll see what happens. I talked to him a little bit, and we're very much in alignment with this being a problem. I think this is a huge issue. Absolutely. True full audit corporations, it's unconstitutional. Well, it's bullshit. I don't care whether it's unconstitutional or not. It's fucking bullshit. Because the government's run by the bank. You know what? You're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. And it's fucking ridiculous, isn't it? It's absolutely fucking ridiculous. The whole point is that things aren't bad. It's simply overreaching police issues. They have no right policing. It's not about us wanting this garbage. Yes, exactly. And I think it's a huge issue. And I do think that we should keep putting the pressure on them. And the best way to put the pressure on them is to be able to, that distracted me, is to have the government do it. The government has to be the one that does this more than anything.